Hello everyone, you're welcome back to Vomit Fits for another fresh and brand new tutorial video. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make your own halter neck romper, and these are some materials I've been needing for it. This is a very beautiful silk fabric and it's my main fabric. I'm using lycra for my lining. This is my marker because I'll be drafting first on a pattern paper. I have my pencil, my scissors, my pattern master, and of course my French curve roller. If this is something you would like to learn, please watch this video till the end. And if this is your first time on this channel, please do not forget to subscribe. Click on the notification bell so you don't get to miss out on more interesting videos coming up. Here on Valmich Fits, we dish out tricks, tips, and techniques on making beautiful and amazing outfits. So without wasting much time, let's get into the tutorial proper. So first, I'll be drafting my pant block, and this is my start line, also my waistline. The next thing, I'll take my full pant length, which is from my waist to where I want my pant to stop, and for me it is 13 inches. So I'll take another point here so I'll have a straight line, and I'll label this my full length. After that, I'll take my round waist measurement, but because this pant has an elastic waistband, I'll use my round hip measurement here instead. So here is my body rise or my crotch depth measurement, and it is 9.5 inches for me. On this point, I'll take my hip measurement divided by 4 like I did on the waistline and connect these 2 points together. That I did to have a straight line. So I'm going to take my waist to my hip line, and then here will be my round thigh measurement divided by 2. Round thigh measurement for most people is about 2 to 2.5 inches more than the hip measurement. So now I'll take my crotch curve on this angle, connecting my hip line to my crotch depth. I'll connect this line to my side seam and also take my waist to my hip line and connect to my center front or my crotch line. Now I'll connect my tie line with my full length, but before I do that, I'll check the measurement I have on my tie line, and whatever it is, I'll divide that by 2 and place the measurement on my full length, and also do the same thing on my tie line. This is just to create a center line for me. I'll connect these 2 points together, then impute my full length measurement, which is 20 inches. That center line will serve as a guide to have both sides equal. So I'll connect my side seam with a curved line and my inseam with a straight line. I'll label this line my hip line and the next my crotch line. The next thing I'm going to do here is to come down by 1 inch from my waistline. This is to avoid the crotch area from folding after joining the pant waist to the top. I'll cut this pattern out and it's time to change the look. One interesting step I'm going to take is the slash and spread method. I'm going to create slash lines and spread out on a fresh paper. But before I do that, I'll check the measurement I have on my full length and divide this equally. Checking, I have 10 inches, so I'll use 2 inches for my spacing. The next thing I'll do is to roll straight lines up to the waistline. So I decided to slash in between my lines to have it more equal on the waistline. I'm slashing to the waistline, not through the waistline. After doing this, I'm going to spread it out on a fresh paper and open it up as much as I want. I'll connect these points together, which is my hemline, and include my 1 inch hemming allowance. On my waistline, I'll add just half of an inch for my seam allowance, and the next thing is to cut out this piece. Guys, if you feel like this is too wide for you, you can go ahead and reduce the gaps in between. So now our front pant block is set. You can see this is a flare pant. I'll use this to cut my back block. So I have my front pattern on a fresh paper, as you can see, and I'll mark out the major lines, which is my crotch line, my hip line, my hemline, and of course my waistline. I'm rolling this out with my markers so it will be more visible, and I'll label these lines out for better understanding. So on my back crotch line, I'll go out by 3 inches. Usually in making pants, all seam allowances are added to the back block. Then on my hip line, I'll go out by 2 inches. I'll do the same thing for my waistline. Sometimes when you sew together, your inseam don't match. Just come down by ½ inch on your crotch line. And on my full length, I'll go out by 2.5 inches. I'll connect these points together and go up by 1 inch on my waistline. This is to avoid sagging on my center back. That is to avoid your pants from dropping at the back, especially when you are sitting down. The last step I am going to take is to connect my front side seam with my center back. So I am done with my drafting. I'll just go ahead to cut this out. I have my front and back flare pant pattern set. I'll separate them from each other and use to cut my main fabric. I have used it to cut my silk fabric. You can see how it looks like. See how the flare came out. This is the front piece and this is the back piece. I would use this to cut my lining, which is my lycra, and then I would sew all the pieces together, starting from my crotch line and then my side seam. So let's move on to the most interesting part of this outfit, which is the top. It's like a bralette, only that it stops on your waistline or your half length. So to get the measurements right for this, just place your tape on where you want the top to start from. See the way I'm placing my tape on my chest line. So that's where I want mine to start from. So you place your tape like so and stop on your waistline or your half length, because that is where my flare pant starts from. If this was a bralette, I would have stopped under my bust. But measuring, I have 12 inches. I'll take this measurement and place it on the middle of my fabric. I'll use this spot as my center line. I'll use it as the center of my fabric, and take note, this is my lining, this is my lycra lining. So I'll just place my tape like so, because I'm going to have seam allowance for joining the top and the lower part. I'll put down 13 inches, half inch for the top and half inch for the lower part. So I'll just mark the center point so I don't make any mistake, because my measurements are all going to start from there. I'll go to the end of this and mark 13 inches, and this is how I'm going to mark it all round from my center point. So I'll just mark it all round and roll the line out to have a better view. So guys, you can see this is like half of a cycle, and this line is where I'm going to cut through, but I'm going to fold it together for you to see how it's going to look like. Now it's like a triangle, and this is what I'll be needing to make the top. After marking it this way, I'm going to slash the other part of this top to divide it in two. So this is my main fabric. I did the same thing with it. I have cut it into half of a cycle and also into a triangle form. These are my lycra linings. So guys, just watch closely what I'm going to do. I'm going to be folding this end like so, and then it will automatically form a cup for my bust. This is just to show you an example of what to expect later on. So let's get right into sewing. But before then, I'm going to cut out the straps for the ruffle designs for the center, front and the side of this top. This is it on fold in 1.5 inches, and when opened up it will be 3 inches. Guys, this is what I am going to do next. I'll take my straps and sew on it loose stitches, then draw into gathers. I'll take the gathered straps and place it on my top, right sides facing each other, and stitch the both of them together. So I have gone ahead to do this. As you can see, this is how they look right now. I haven't pressed yet with my pressing iron, and guys, please do not mind these gathers on my top. My sewing machine was a bit of a work for me, but don't worry about that. After pressing it properly, it's going to come out fine. I have fixed the long straps at the top. This is what I'm going to be using to tie on my neck and round my waistline. And also you can see how the ruffles came out. This is the right side of the top. I'm going to press this out very well, and then this is the wrong side of my top. You can see how neat it's looking, because I used my lining to cover up the rough edges. This long strap is about 75 inches in length and 1.5 inches in width, which I folded into half of an inch. But please, you can go ahead and make it as long as you want, especially when you are on the big side. Now it's time to gather up this lower part, which is the waistline, to make it look like a bralette. And the best way to do this is to sew on it loose stitches, then draw into gathers to fit the front pair. So guys, I have crossed that part and here is the outcome. You can see how beautiful it is looking already. Just like I said earlier, I made on loose stitches and drew into gathers, and I did this with the measurement of the center front to the side front of my pant waist. Now it's time to turn this two-piece into a romper. I'll place them right sides facing each other and stitch on the waistline. I have done one side of it and this is how it looks like. I also went ahead to cut out a long strap to serve as the casing for my elastic band. This strap is about 2 inches in width and the length is the size of my pant waist. The size of the elastic band I will be using is about half of an inch and is the regular one you use in making your puff sleeves. This is how the casing will be fixed to the waistline. So I'll take this away to fix the other side of the top and bring it back here. This is it. I have fixed the both tops to the pants, and the last step to complete this outfit is for the casing. So this is what I'm going to do. I'll take this band, which will be my casing, place it on the pant waist just like this, then sew together with half of an inch. I'll fold this remaining one in two with the rough ends inside it. Flip it over to the right side, then top stitch. I'll take this away to finish up, and the next thing you will see will be the final look. So guys, my halter neck romper is completely done and I love the outcome. See how it is looking so simple and easy to wear. Guys, I believe you're smiling right now because you can now make your own halter neck romper. You can make this for friends, for family, and whoever likes this kind of outfit. All you need to do is to just follow this tutorial step by step. You can decide to create your own design on this ruffles part. Just do what works best for you and follow your preference. My elastic has been inserted to the band, that is why it is looking gathered around the waist. I hope you enjoyed watching this beautiful video, but I would not leave until I show you how I finished it up on the inside. And this is the wrong side of it. This is how beautiful and neat it is looking. You can see my casing properly covered with my elastic band inserted. I'm going to be serging this rough edge, which is the center front, and I'll do the same thing for my center back and my side seam allowance. Guys, if you know you learned something from this tutorial, please give this video a thumbs up. Drop your comments, your questions. I enjoy reading and answering them. For a quicker response, I'll drop a link to my Telegram group where you can easily reach and access Valmich Fit, and fresh updates will be posted there. Please, if this is your first time on this channel and you'd love to see more of this, then hit on the subscribe button. Also click on the notification bell so you don't miss out on more interesting and intriguing videos I'll be putting up. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and drop your beautiful comments below. I'd like to know your thoughts on this video. So this beautiful romper is ready to be worn and slayed, and I hope to see you in my next tutorial. Bye. Hello, my beautiful and amazing people. This is Valmich Fit and you're welcome back here. I am so excited to be sharing this video with you today because I have had lots of requests on my Facebook, TikTok, and on here to share this detailed and complete video because of the short insight videos I have posted. So today you have it at its fullest. So this is a 12 pieces gown with front zipper and side pocket. And these are the beautiful fabrics I'll be using to make them. I'm going to be mixing the both of them up to form one beautiful dress. Please, if this is your first time here, do not forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell for more updates. And also please like this video and help share so other people can get to see and learn this. Do not forget to drop your comments or your questions, and I'll be so glad to attend to them. If you'd love to learn how to make this amazing 12 pieces gown, then follow me to my pattern drafting. So I am starting with my front block pattern, and I have my lines ruled out. I have my shoulder line and my front zipper. I'll be taking my vertical measurements now, and they are my shoulder to chest line, shoulder to bust point, shoulder to under bust, my shoulder to my waistline, to my hip line, and then the full dress length. I'll take same measurement here so that I'll have a straight line. The next thing I'm going to do will be to connect these points together, and then I'll start to label. I'll label the first line, my chest line, then my bust point, my under bust line, my waistline, my hip line, and then my full length. So this front is the zipper allowance because this is a front zipper dress. After rolling out these lines, then go ahead to take your shoulder measurement divided by 2, and I'll take same measurement on my chest line so that I can connect to have a straight line. Then after that, I'll take my shoulder slope, which is 1 inch below my shoulder line, and then take my basic neckline measurement. But what I did there was to take 3.5 inches because the basic neckline measurement is 3 inches. Here is to take your armhole curve, just the way I'm doing it, by dividing this line here by 2 and then make a point there. And then here you go in by 0.75 inch and connect with a straight line from your shoulder slope and then with a curved line into your chest line. That being done, the next is to take your horizontal measurement. I'll start with my under bust and I'll take my nipple to nipple measurement here. I did that on my under bust, my waistline, and then my bust point, and I'll do it on my hip line and the full dress length. So I'll connect these points together for my dart line, and I want you to take note that this is going to be a princess dart, that is an armhole princess dart. So what you're going to do next is either go down by 4 inches from your shoulder slope, or you make use of your armhole in curve measurement, then connect the dart from your bust point to your armhole. So from that point I'll go down by 1 inch, which will be my armhole tightening, and on my under bust I'll go out by 2 inches, and this will be my under bust tightening. I'll take same measurement, same 2 inches on my waistline. I'll do the same thing on my hip line, and I'll also do same thing on my full dress length. After taking these points down, I'll connect with a straight line, and from my under bust I'll connect to my bust point and then to my armhole. Please, you can go ahead and do it just the way I am. You can see how I'm drawing out the curve line from my under bust to my bust point, and then to that 1 inch spacing I made on my armhole. So here I am taking my waist measurement and I'm measuring out the difference between the two dart legs and include the measurement for my waist. On my chest line, I'll take my bust measurement and I'll check the difference in my armhole dart measurement and include that to the measurement. So I'll take my hip measurement and also the difference in the dart legs, and I'll put the same measurement here. Basically, this is what I'm going to do for the full length. My full length is going to be my hip measurement because this is going to be a straight gown, and also includes the difference between the two dart legs, which is 2 inches. So I'll connect these points together to form my basic dress. So I have my basic dress formed out, and I believe yours will look just the same way if you follow the procedure. So I'm going to cut this out now. This is the front block pattern. Please do not forget this. This is my front block pattern, and as you can see, I do not have any seam allowance on my pattern paper yet. So guys, as you can see, we have our armhole princess dart pattern cut out. So basically this is how it looks like, but the difference is this dress will have a front zipper.
So the next thing I'm going to do here is to take my neck depth, and I'll be using 5.5 inches. You can go ahead to use 5 inches, you can make use of 6 inches depending on how deep or how high you want your neckline to be. But for me, 5.5 inches is just fine because after sewing this, I'm going to have 6 inches. So I'll keep this front pattern aside and then draft out my back block pattern. Pardon me, I'm using same paper I cut out from my front pattern. That is why we have all these lines rolled out. But that's my shoulder line and this is my chest line, my bust points. We will not be making use of under bust line, so I have my waistline, my hip line, and then my full length. So I'll just go ahead to label my lines out so we don't get confused. The next thing we'll be doing here is to take our shoulder measurement just like we did for the front and connect it to the chest line and also our shoulder slope, which is 1 inch. We'll take our neck width just like the front, which we took 3.5 inches, then connect with a slant line to the shoulder slope. Just like I did on the front pattern, I'll take my nipple to nipple measurement, which is my that measurement, and I'll take same measurement all through to my full dress length. So guys, the difference on this back pattern is that there's not going to be any tightening like we did on the front block, but trust me, it's going to come out perfect. So here we're going to take our armhole curve, just measure out the middle. Unlike the front pattern, we'll be going in by half an inch because the front pattern was 0.75 inch. So we'll connect this into the chest line and connect our dart line to this armhole point. Please make sure to blend this spot into a fine curve because you don't want any sharp curve after sewing. So the next thing I'm going to do is to take my body measurement just like I did for the front, but the difference also is there's not going to be any tightening, so there's not going to be any difference between that legs. So I'll take the measurement exactly as it is and then connect the points together to form my back block basic dress. One interesting thing I'm going to do for this back block pattern is on where the zipper allowance is supposed to be. You know there's no zipper at this back, so just like you would do normally on your back dress, we'll do just the same thing here. I'll go up by 1.5 inches, which is my back half length, and for my back neck depth, I'll come down by 2 inches. So after sewing, I'll have 2.5 inches. I'll connect this to my shoulder line and come down by about 2 inches from my neck depth, then connect with a straight line to my back half length. I'll take that measurement straight to my hip line with a slant line too. So you can see our back half length is still formed even without having a zipper. This is going to help that spot to relax very well across our back because our back is not straight. So that usually is to eliminate zipper bulge on our center back. Before I separate these from each other, I'll just include my side seam allowance for you to see how it looks like. So I'll be adding 1.5 inches side seam allowance. You can go ahead to add 2 inches, depends on how much allowance you want there, but I would advise you don't include too much. So I am separating the center back from the side back, and the next thing will be to cut them into the amount of pieces you would want. So here, when cutting our fabric, we're going to be including our seam allowances of just half an inch on the center back and on the darts area. So I'll take this away and bring about my front cutout piece. I'll be dividing this side front in two, so I'll take the midpoint of my waistline here and also do the same thing for my under bust. I'll do same thing for my hip line and also for my full dress length. So I'll just connect these points together, and from my waistline I'll connect with a curve into the armhole. So you can see these lines are not really straight except from my hip line to my full length. It's just having a slight curve, and that is what we want. So we'll be including our seam allowances of half an inch on the sides I'm pointing, except for my side, which is 1.5 inches. So this is the center front with the zipper allowance. I'll just label so don't get confused on it. So this is our side piece, and you can see the zipper allowance on it. That is why I am labeling it, because usually it's on the back. So I'll take this away and then bring back our center and side back. So we're going to be separating this one also, just like we did for the front. We'll be separating the side back just the way we took the midpoint between the waist. That's the same thing we'll be doing here. So I'll measure out the midpoints on these lines I'm pointing to. So I'll take the midpoint of my waist and the midpoint of my bust, and also do the same thing for the other parts. I'll connect with a slight curve, especially from the waistline to my armhole, and I'll just blend these parts out so I don't have any sharp curve. I just want it to be smooth. So this is how it is. So we'll be including our seam allowances on these areas too, apart from my side seam that already has 1.5 inches seam allowance. If you want your dress to go longer than this, then please just add more length to the lower part. So bringing the pieces together, assuming this paper is on fold, we would realize that we have cut out 6 pieces for the back and also 6 pieces for the front, and counting all together, that makes 12 pieces. So you can even cut this up to 16 pieces, that is 8 for the back and 8 for the front. Please, if you're bumping into this channel for the first time, do not forget to hit on the subscribe button and click on the notification bell so you don't miss out on new updates. And I want to say a very big thank you for watching. I hope you understand everything we did here. Please do not forget to like, do not forget to drop your comments below, and also do not forget to share this video so other people can get to learn. Drop your questions, drop your comments. I'll be so glad to attend to them. If you'd like to see me cut out my fabric with all these pieces and also stitch together to form that beautiful dress, then please follow me along. Hello guys, you're welcome back here again. This is Valmich Fits. Here we'll learn techniques, tips and tricks of making beautiful and gorgeous outfits. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to make your own hip and board pad, and I'm going to be drafting this on the pattern paper. These are some tools I'll be using to draft on my paper, and here I have my lines rolled out. I have my waistline, my hip line and my knee line. But first I'll be drafting a basic skirt block. To start with, I'll take my waist measurement, and after doing this, I'll check my waist to my hip line and I'll take my hip measurement. In drafting your hip and board pad, you have to choose your preference, how big you want your hip to be. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'll be making use of just half an inch for my hip pad. So I'll impute my hip measurement here. That is my original hip measurement. And after doing this, I'll impute my knee measurement. Because this skirt is a very short one, high above the knee, I'll deduct just 2 inches from my hip measurement and then put down the measurement. So I'll connect these points together now. Sorry guys, my full skirt length is 15 inches, not 13 inches. But don't worry about the initial line because I'll make use of it to draft my hip pad. But you can decide to make your skirt longer, it depends on what you want. So I'm measuring 15 inches also by the side, so I'll have a straight line and then I'll roll this line out. Now that the line has been rolled out, I'll impute the initial measurement from the former line here. So now this will be my new upper knee line and also my full skirt length. So I'll take the measurement here now and then adjust my line into this measurement. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to draft my hip pad in my basic skirt block, and I'm going to be making use of this initial line I drafted earlier, which is 13 inches. So it's just 2 inches away from my knee line, and this is going to be where my hip pad will stop. The next thing I'm going to do right now is to go down by 1 inch from my waistline, and on my hip line I'll go in by 4 inches. This measurement varies from body sizes. You can go in by 5 inches and also by 6 inches depending on the size of the person. So for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going in by 4 inches because of the body size. And after doing that, I'll connect these points together. So I'll connect this with a curved line. This front pattern is the easiest, that is the front hip pad. To get the measurement in your hip line, just place your tape rule on your hips and measure from your side to your front thigh. So I'll level this up and then down because I don't want to mix this up after cutting. The next thing I'm going to do now is to draft my back skirt block, and this line will be my center back. The next thing I'll do is to take my waist measurement and also include my dart seam allowance. And here I'll put down my upper knee measurement just like I did on the front block. This back block has the butt pad and it's a bit more technical than the front, so please watch this closely. First, I'll connect my waistline to my knee line, and after this I'll take my dart measurements. So for this particular body measurement, I'm using 6.5 inches in width and 4 inches in length. So I'll roll this out now, and then on the sides of my dart line I'll go out by half an inch. Then connect these points to my dart length. So I'm rolling this out. This is for holding my dart. The next thing I'm going to do is to go in by 1 inch on my center back, and on my hip line I would come down by 3 to 3.5 inches. And then as I did on the front block, I'll go down by 1 inch on my waistline, that is the side waistline. So on this 1 inch point, I'll go up by 1 inch on each sides of the line. Then connect my waist to this point. And on the 3 inches mark, I'll come out by 4 inches. So I'll connect these points together now. And I'll use my free hand to just connect to the full length of the pad. You know what? The aim for this is to make it look as round and as curvy as a real butt, not like SpongeBob SquarePants. So on a second look, I'm just going to use my free hands to make this more round and curvy. But I'll make sure to connect it to the 1 inch point away from my zipper line because you don't want this interfering with your zipper. And I would also connect it to the 4 inches point under my hip line. To get this measurement right, just measure from your back waistline to your under butt, and that is the measurement I have under my hip line. That is where I'm connecting it to right now, and then I'll connect it to the full length of this pad. And with this, we are done with the drafting of our hip and butt pad. So I'm going to cut this out and move to the next step. Please don't forget to label this piece. You don't want to make any mistake when it's time to put them together. So I have my hip and my butt pattern cut out. You can see it's that simple and easy. And this is how it looks like on the other side of the pattern paper. So I'm going to use this to cut my hip pad, and I'll be using a store-bought foam. You can get this foam from your local furniture making shops. It's not even difficult to find. I'll place my pattern paper on this and cut out to exact shape. So yeah, I have my front pattern cut out, and I'm going to be cutting this in twos. And of course, I'll label my foam to avoid story that touches. And here I have my butt pad cut out and labeled, and also I'll be cutting this in twos. So this is one for the right and one for the left butt, and these are each piece together. So I'm going to be stitching these together, but before I do that, I'll trim off the edges to make them really flat so that they can blend to my body. I mentioned earlier that I'll be using just half an inch for my hip and butt pad, and placing my tape on this, you can see this is just half of an inch. You can go as much as 1 2 inches, depends on your preference, but I want mine to look more natural and just keep it low. So this is how to trim off the edges and make them look really flat. Just watch closely, it's nothing difficult. Don't forget, we have the right side and we have the wrong side of this pad. We have the top and we have the lower part of it. So make sure you take note of that. That is why it is labeled up and down. To let you know, before attaching your hip and butt pad to your dress or skirt, make sure to cut your fabric with your new hip measurement while your lining remains your original measurement. Otherwise, your pad wouldn't fit into your dress. That is original hip measurement plus foam size in 4 places. I'll be trimming also the side line, so it will be very easy for me when I'm stitching the both pieces together. So this is from my front pad. I'll go ahead and do the same for my back pad. So I am done with this. I have trimmed off the edges to make them look flat, and this is how the back pad looks now. This is the front and this is the back of it. The next step I'll be taking here is to cover up these foams with my hairstay with the use of my pressing iron. This is to make it blend really well by covering up this roughness when it's in my dress. I'll work on this and bring it back to show you. So this is how it looks like right now. I've covered each and every piece of this with my hairstay, and it's looking really smooth on the back and on the front of it. You can also see the edges here looking really flat. This will help it to be unnoticeable when it's in my dress. That is the main reason for trimming off the edges, for them to blend perfectly on my skin. So I'll take this to my sewing machine to stitch together with right sides facing each other. I'll do this and bring them back to show you guys how it looks like. And here we go. So this is how it looks like right now. Looking really smooth, beautiful. I can't even explain much. So this is how it looks like inside, and I also made sure to stitch the edges, about 2 stitches made on it, round the edges from front to the back. So this is even to make it look really flat when it's on my body. You can see the stitches I made. I actually used a different color of thread for you to be able to see this properly. So I did this all round the pad so that they can blend perfectly, and this is how it looks inside. After stitching the both of them together, I made sure to iron flat. For more curviness, try as much as possible to use your tailor's arm to iron this pad. Put your tailor's arm inside of it and press properly. This is the second pad with also 2 to 3 stitches made round the edges. And this pad is ready to be fixed in your dress and in your skirts. Now that we have come to the end of this tutorial, I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making the video, and I also hope you have learned how to make your own hip and butt pad. For those who don't know what hairstay looks like, this is how it looks like. This is the black because it comes in both white and black. So this is the black one, and this is how it looks inside of it. This is the part that is fused to your fabric, to your foam, or to whatever you are fusing it to. So guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for staying back here. And I have a detailed tutorial on how you can fix this hip and butt pad to your skirt. I'll drop the link in the description box so you can easily access this. Please do not forget to like, do not forget to drop your comments below, and also do not forget to share this video so more people can get to see this and learn. Please drop your suggestions, and if you have any questions so far, also drop it, and as much as they are, I will attend to them. If this is your first time on this channel and you enjoyed watching this video, Please do not leave without subscribing, and also click on the notification bell so you don't miss out on more interesting videos I will be putting up. So from here, I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Hello guys, you're welcome to Varmage Fit. Here we'll learn techniques, tips and tricks of making beautiful and gorgeous outfits. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, like and comment on the videos, and also click on the notification bell so it will notify you whenever I post a new video. Today, we're going to be learning how to make this very beautiful dress up here, and in doing that, we're going to be drafting on the pattern paper so it will help us with the accuracy of cutting out all these pieces and putting them together. For this dress, we're going to be needing a black crepe, an already made cup, and some African prints. You can decide to make use of all 5 pieces or just one African print. Also, I'm going to be making use of these appliques for embellishments. Now we're taking our shoulder to bust point, our shoulder to under bust, and here we're taking our shoulder to waistline, and our shoulder to our hip length, and then the shoulder to the full dress length. Take your shoulder divided by 2 and make a point there. Go down 1 inch for your shoulder slope and take your basic neckline measurement, which is 3 inches, and make a point there. Then rule a line from that neckline to your shoulder slope. Take your shoulder to your chest line, and mine is 7.5 inches, and then make a rule there. And also make a rule down to your chest line from your shoulder slope. Measure your shoulder to your chest line and then mark out the midpoint. Go in by 0.75 inch and make a mark there, and then rule from your shoulder slope down to that mark that you have made. Take your bust measurement, and mine is 9 1/4, and then curve out from your shoulder slope area down to the bust measurement. This dress, we're not going to be having any darts, only on the bust area. So I'm going to take in my dart, which is 4 inches from my waistline, and I'm going to take same measurement up to the bust point. And then I'll make a rule down connecting these 3 dots. I'm going to come in from the center front by 1/2 inch, and also come down to the under bust and make same measurement there. So I'll take my ruler and connect the 2 points together. These ruled out lines are just guides to help us position our cup properly. So I'll take my already made cup now and position it directly on top my under bust. Make sure to position it from the 1/2 inch at the center front. Hold your cup very firm to your paper so it doesn't move, and then use a pencil to sketch it out. Please be very careful while doing this so your cup does not shift out of its placement. Mark out the cup edges from side to side, because from that point upwards, we're going to be adding interface on our fabric. Now I'm going to take my marker and trace out the pencil line for it to be more visible. I'll take my bust measurement divided by 4 and put a mark there. And I'll also take my waist measurement divided by 4 and also put a mark there. Now I'll take my hip measurement divided by 4 also and use same hip measurement for my full length. The full length of this dress is 39 inches. So I'm using same hip measurement on the hemline just to form a straight gown. And then I'll connect these lines together after checking for accuracy. So you can go ahead and do yours just the same way. I'll mark out this curve down to the full length of the dress. And to my chest line, I will make a straight roll down to the center front. I'll measure my shoulder to chest line, which is 8.5 inches, and label that line my chest line. I don't want any open cleavage, so at the center front I'll extend the half inch upward, and at my bust point I'll go up by 1.5 inches and also do the same thing at the center front. At the armhole area, I'll come downwards by 6 inches just to create that off the shoulder look, and then connect these dots with a curve line. So go ahead and do same for yours. I'm blending it out very well so to have a very nice curve and extend my bust cup to the neckline. So now I'm going to cut out the bust cup. To get the flare that extends from your center front to your center back, mark out 3 inches on your hemline, which is your dress length, and from your hip line, go down by 4 inches and mark out 3 inches there too. Then draw a curved rule from your waistline down to your hemline and then cut open. We'll keep this curved pattern aside and then draft our back bodice. So I already have my lines ruled out just as we did at the front block. Then I have my shoulder divided by 2 and then my shoulder to my chest line, shoulder to bust point, shoulder to under bust, shoulder to hip line, and then shoulder to the full length of my dress. And then on the armhole curve, I went in by half an inch and ruled it down to my chest line. So I'll take my bust measurement now divided by 4 and make a point there. And also take my waist measurement divided by 4, make a point and do the same. Take my hip measurement divided by 4 also at the full length of the dress. I'll take my bust measurement on my chest line and then connect all the dots together. Remember, this dress will not be having any dots aside the bust cup. Now I'm connecting all the points together. So here we are forming a basic dress at the back block. And then for our neckline, I'll go up by half an inch because I do not want the neckline to be too deep. And also, as we did at the front, come down by 6 inches and then connect these two dots together, thereby forming our back neckline. So to get the basque effect at your waist area, place your tape on your waistline from the center back and measure 5 inches. You can decide to go as low as 6 inches, but for me, I'd make use of 5 inches. Then make a point there. Take your ruler and rule connecting your waistline to the 5-inch point. And also, I'll rule it into the zipper allowance. So I'll go ahead and cut out this space. I decide to add my seam allowance on my back block just to show you where you'll be having your seam allowance. So do the same on the front block. As we can see, the lower part of this dress will not be having any side seam allowance. So go ahead and cut this out. So I'm creating a depth at my zipper area, and then I'll go ahead and cut out my neckline. After this, I'll adjust my armhole and cut this pattern into 2 pieces. Now you can see the form it has taken. So this is how it's going to be like when you cut yours. So I'll go back to the top of this pattern to take my back half length. You know, the measurement for our front and our back half length are 2 different lengths. So I'll be taking mine to eliminate zipper bulge. I can decide to make use of 14.5 inches, but for this dress, I'll be making use of 15 inches because it will work better for me. So after rolling this out from the waistline, the side waistline to the center back, and go in by 0.75 inch at that zipper area. Then make a roll from your center back neckline to that point and then down to where your basque stops. Now we have eliminated any zipper bulge that would have formed at the center back. So we're going to make use of these 2 pieces, the front cutout piece and the back cutout piece. I'll put these 2 patterns together by aligning them at the side seam area, creating one whole piece. To hold this together, I'll make use of my paper tape. And then indicate the side seam line with an arrow. We will assume this part of the pattern has been slashed open, so I'll create slash lines on the front and on the back piece. And I'm going to use 2 inches spacing to create these lines. If you don't want yours to be that wide, then you can reduce the spacing of the slash lines. Just as I did at the front, I'll do the same thing at the back. starting from the zipper line. Now I'll rule out these points straight to the waist area with my ruler. So I'll use my pencil to create these lines just in case I want to change anything. I will go ahead and slash these lines and spread open on another paper, and then I'll cut out to shape. So this is how it looks like after cutting to shape. Now we have created a new waistline, and if you look at this piece very well, it's like half of a cycle. So I have ruled out a straight line indicating my side seam, and this line is going to be a guide for me in cutting out all the pieces in creating this flare. So I'll take my tape starting from that line at the waist area and measure 10 inches down to the front. So from that 10 inches, I'll measure 6 inches down. And take another 6 inches down. Leaving 2 inches at the lower part, which is fine. So at the side seam area, I'll take 3 inches downwards and then measure 5 inches and another 5 inches. Also going downwards another 5 inches. On this side seam, we're going to have 5 cutout pieces. So moving to the back, that's the zipper area, we're going to cut out 5 pieces just like we did on the side seam. So measuring from the waist downward, we'll take 4 inches and we'll take same measurements all through, leaving 2 inches at the lower part. So please go ahead and do the same thing for yours. The next thing I'm going to do now is connecting these 3 dots together, starting from the front to the back. And in connecting this, I would use curved lines to put them together, hereby creating each pieces that we'll be using for the flare. Please try as much as possible to create a very nice curve so it will come out nice when you cut them out. I'll label my first piece number 1, and for the second piece I'll label that number 2. To create the last piece for the center front, just go in by about 11 inches, make that point there, and then make a curve from that point through to the center line and down to the back line. So these are my cutout pieces, and I cut them in twos, one for the left and one for the right. And I also went ahead to include my seam allowance for joining at the top area and also at the down area, and I did same at the front, but I did not include any seam allowance at the zipper area because I already had my zipper allowance there before slashing and spreading out these pieces, so there was no need of including any other one there. Please go ahead and notch the center line because it will guide you when fixing all the pieces together. Now we have come to the end of drafting out this very beautiful dress pattern. Please join me on the sewing video to see how I brought this dress to life. If you find this video interesting, please give the video a thumbs up, leave your comments below, and do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Click on the notification bell so it will notify you whenever I post a new video. And please share to your friends so they can learn as well. Moving forward, we're going to put together all these cutout pieces and stitch them according to how they are being labeled, with right sides facing each other. Please make sure to indicate your center line with a notch and start your stitching from that point to each end. Just as you place the both of them together, sew from the center point to the front and then to the back to avoid one side having any excess. So I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and stitch them together, then I'll come back and show you guys. Now this is how it looks like after stitching all the pieces together, forming one whole flare. And I also went ahead to cut out my lining, so you can see how beautiful it looks already. This is my fashion fabric and this is my lining. I've also gone ahead to cut out the pieces for the center part of this dress. So this is the fashion fabric for the center part and then my lining. So this is the back part of the dress. This is the back bodice, the main fabric of the dress, and this is the lining for it. So I'll just go ahead and iron that and trim off any excess if there happens to be any. I'll do the same with the lining for the center front. So I'll keep all these aside and cut my bust cup. I have shaped out one of the bust cup and I'll do the same for the other, measuring 10.5 in length and 6.5 in width. So the next thing you're going to do is take this piece and fold again together and then cut like you're going to cut out a flare. So I'm just going to trim off this edge to have a very nice shape. Mind you, my bust cup was first placed on fold before folding the second time. Now that I've done that, the next thing to do is hold our dart for this bust cup. Before doing that, we're going to mark the center point of this piece, or you can as well just notch the center point just to give you that guide in sewing. So I've notched to the center for this piece and I'll do the same for the other piece. So the next thing now, we're going to hold about 1.5 inches that's down to the bottom. I'll take this to my sewing machine and come back to show you. So I've gone ahead to stitch my cup to the center piece. And inside of this, I went ahead to iron light interface on the bust cup and I did the same for the black fabric. I used it for the black fabric because I wanted some stability on it since it stretches. And my bust cup is a non-stretchy fabric. So as you can see, I have stitched my bust dart and also made a dart on my already made cup to have a very nice fit. So I went ahead to trim off the excess and aligned both darts together and stitched the both of them together before stitching the bust cup on my center piece. So this is how it looks like on the front after stitching. So the next thing I'll do now is to make use of my hemming gum. If you look at this particular cup very well, you see it sitting firmly and looking glued to the cup that I created. So I'm going to do the same for the other cup by cutting out a piece of my hemming gum and sticking it in between the already made cup and the cup that I created. So just go ahead and do the same thing for yours. Now you're going to make use of your pressing iron to glue these two cups together using your tailor's hammer. So just place a piece of cloth on top and then press together to avoid burning your already made cup. Turn to the right side and then iron also.
For my lining, I did the same with ironing interface on both the bust cup and the center piece to have same effect as the main fabric. So I'll take my lining now, placing right side of the lining with the right side of the main fabric. After sewing on the neckline, I'll then flip it over. So now I'm just going to take this to my sewing machine to stitch on, and then I'll come back and show you guys how it looks like. So I've sewn on my neckline. This is how it looks like inside of it, and this is how the right side looks like. And I've also gone ahead to turn my side seam, and on the hemline I ironed strong interface on it on both the lining and of the main fabric. I did this to give this part a little bit of structure. So I flip this over, placing right side facing each other, and stitch with 1/2 inch, then flip it over. Then for my back bodice, I've turned the neckline and also the zipper area, including the side seam. So I'll take these two pieces together, right side facing each other, and then stitch on my zipper allowance. For this dress, I'm going to be making use of an out seam sewing allowance, not an inseam allowance. So I'll take all these pieces to my sewing machine, sew together, and then I'll come back and show you guys. Okay guys, I've gone ahead to stitch on the flare, which is the goddess, and this is how it looks inside the dress. So I'm going to be using my lining to cover up the rough edges inside. So this is how beautiful it looks right now. My lining is going to be used to turn over to cover up those parts. And for the back, this is how the back looks. And I have held on my zipper allowance, leaving the lower part open for now. So we are halfway done with this dress, and you can see the basque effect at the back. You can see the V shape there, and the front is having a very nice look. So please guys, make sure to press open your seam allowance so it will have a very neat look. So when you press it open, it's going to look really neat and beautiful. So make sure you do that. So the next thing we're going to do now is to introduce our lining to turn the lower part of the dress. But before we do that, we're going to be making use of this hard net to give the waist area some volume to enhance the hip, measuring 1 to 1.5 inches from this first piece through to the back and leaving 1 to 1.5 inches before your zipper. So I'll take my hard net now, flip it in two, measuring my waist area from that 1 to 1.5 inches all through to the zipper area. Multiply that measurement by 2 or by 3 depending on how much enhancement you want to put there, and cut the hard net in curve. I'll take this to my sewing machine now, come back and show you guys. So guys, we're done with the sewing of this dress, and see how so beautiful it's looking already. It's looking really nice and neat, and please make sure yours is same way or even better. So I've gone ahead to fix on my sleeves. This is just a regular puff sleeve, and I cut it in a triangular shape because I do not want any gathers on the shoulder area. In case you don't know how to cut this puff sleeve, please just leave your comments below and I'll make a video on that. So I'm going to be making use of my store-bought appliques. This is the one for the bust area. I'm going to be stitching with my hand needle and thread round the bust and also on the other bust. And I'll do the same round this shoulder through to the neckline and then stop before my zipper. So I'll bring on my needle and thread, and then I'll come and show you guys how I did this. But before then, we'll make use of this other applique. It's really nice and shiny. This particular one is not a must, so you can decide to make use of any other one. So I'll just take it, trim a piece out of it. It could be time taking, but it's all worth it. So just trim off a piece and I'll use my UHU gum to stick it to my dress. So you just put it in between your black fabric and your Ankara, or whichever color of fabric you'll be making use of. So you just put it and then place it properly, arrange it on it, and use your gum to stick it together. So I'll do the same thing for the sides of the dress, from the front to the back, or whichever way you want to take it from. Now guys, it's time for the hand needle and thread sewing. So I'll carefully tag this woven applique on my bust, and I'll do the same on the other bust. So I'll tack this, making sure it's only tacked on my main fabric and not coming out through on my lining. So you see how I'm separating the both of them to be sure it's not tacking on my lining. So to give that part some ease, and then I'll cut this off and sew the other part. So this is how it looks like, the finished work after sewing on the woven applique. So I'm going to make use of my gum to stick this cutout applique on the seam lines of the dress. So I'll apply the gum directly on the cutout piece, not on the dress, because I do not want to make any mess. So I'll just apply it carefully on the piece and then stick it on the lines of the dress. So here I decided to make use of single piece stones, and I'm just arranging them in order to make it more beautiful. So I'm going to make use of my pressing iron to stick it to the dress. But before that, I'll place on a light towel and then press on high heat. So I am pressing it this way to avoid burning my dress, not after all that work. So removing my iron, this is how it looks like, and I'll fill up that space. So this is how it looks like after finishing the dress. This is the final look of the dress. It's looking really beautiful, and this is how the inside of it looks like, really neat without any rough part you're seeing. So from the back through to the front, this is how it looks. Everything is covered. So this is how it looks like on me. See how nice and beautiful it looks. Please, if you enjoyed this tutorial as much as I enjoyed making this video, please do not forget to subscribe, like, and leave your comments below, and click on the notification bell so it will notify you whenever I post a new video. If you want to see more interesting videos like this, please do not forget to subscribe and share these videos to your friends so they can also learn how to make this dress. So guys, if you want to learn how to make your own already made cup looking all nice and beautiful like this, just leave your comments below. This is how the already made cup looks on this finished outfit. It's looking really nice. So if you want to learn, please drop your comments. So today we're going to be learning how to make your own already made cup with the use of store-bought foam. So you can get this foam in any furniture making shop. This foam is really soft to the touch and also very flat. So we're just going to be needing a little piece of this to make our cup. Meanwhile, we're also going to be making use of a little piece of Estee in covering the foam. And of course, our bust cup cutout pattern, which is really important for this tutorial, not forgetting our scissors also. Please, in case you don't know how to achieve these cutout top patterns, just drop your comments, and as much as I see the comments, I'll drop an interesting video on that. So as you can see, I have included 1/2 inch seam allowance all round, which will be very useful for us when we have cut out our foam. Moving forward, I'll take these cup patterns, place them on the foam, and then cut exactly to shape. So I'll take the first piece and then cut this out. Don't forget, we'll be needing these foams in twos, one for the left and one for the right. So that is exactly what I'm doing here. Now that we have our foam cut out pieces, make sure to label them as indicated on the pattern paper to avoid placing them wrongly. So this is my center front and my side front. Now we have them in twos, one for the left and one for the right. So if you look at this foam very well, you see that it's really flat and it's measuring about half of an inch. So placing my tape, you can see it's measuring about half of an inch. But still, we're going to be making the edges even more flatter. So we're going to be trimming off on these edges to make it even more flatter. And this is how to do it. So just carefully trim off on these edges all around. So now we have our first two trimmed out pieces. Taking a very close look at this, you see it's much more flatter than it earlier was. So just looking at it all round, you see how so flat it is all round. So the next thing we're going to be doing right now is making use of our hairstay in covering this foam. So I'll take this to my pressing table and place this carefully on my trimmed out foam. And with the use of my pressing iron on low heat, I'll gum this hairstay to this foam. So I'll take this over to work on and come back to show you guys. Now this is how it looks like after putting on the hairstay. So I'll just trim off the excess because we won't be needing all that. So this is how it looks like after trimming off the excess. The next thing we're going to be doing here is aligning these two pieces on the bust point. Not forgetting one is the center front and the other the side front. So this trimmed out part is where we're going to be placing facing each other. So make sure to place it facing each other like so. Align properly. And then hold a dart of half of an inch, just like you would do on your main fabric. So I'll take this to my sewing machine to stitch on and then I'll come back and show you guys how it looks like. So guys, we have our already made cup formed out. You can see how so beautiful it is looking already. So taking a very close look at this, you can see how so cupped out it is. You can see the depth in there, and I also went ahead to press open my seam line with the use of my tailor's ham both on the inside and on the outside, placing on it a light towel before pressing. I also went ahead to create about 3 to 4 stitch lines around the edges to make these edges even more flatter than it was trimmed, and now it is looking really flat. Moving forward, we are going to be introducing our main fabric, which I already ironed hairstay on, taking note of the bust point. I went ahead to press open my seam line both on the outside and on the inside. So I'll place this on my bust cup, making sure that the darts align with each other both on the top and on the lower part. I'll secure these parts, holding it together with my pins. So go ahead and do the same thing for yours. Please make sure to arrange this properly before holding with pins. So I'll hold the top part first, and then the lower part I'll align properly and then secure with my pin. So from side to side, stretch out your fabric and secure with pins, leaving no space in between. So this is the lining for this cup, and I'm fitting it in, making sure that the darts align and that it fits in properly to avoid any finished problems. Now that we have checked the fitting, I'll keep that aside. As you can see, the lining and the main fabric are sewn same way. Now our cup is ready to be fixed on the lower part of our corset top. So please go ahead to stitch together the center and side piece and then fix on your cup. So this is how it will look like after you have stitched together, and trust me, it will look even more beautiful after your cup has been fixed. So please, if you find this video very helpful, please do not forget to like and leave your comments below, and also do not forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. So now you can just go on and attach whatever you want on the yoke, or you can leave it like so. I want to say thank you to my subscribers. Thank you for sticking here with Valmich Fits. And please, if you have any question, just drop it on the comment section and I'll attend to them. And I hope to drop even more interesting videos moving forward, so you can drop your suggestions on the comment section. So from here, I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye.